Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, and welcome to my session of Let's Talk About Life Insurance. That is, I'm here spilling all the tea on different life insurance policies. So, um, please share the live. Before we get started, I'm asking everybody to please, ma'am, please, sir, please share the live. Please share the live before we get started, y'all, because the information that I'm sharing with you guys is information that everybody can utilize and everybody can learn from, everybody can use. So please share the live, okay? Um, Also, if you have any questions as we do this session, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put the questions in the comment section. And I'm going to try my best to get to each and every question before we get off, okay? I'm not going to be with you long today. This is going to be short and sweet. Short and sweet. So please share the live because we're not going to be here long, okay? I'm just going to be straight to the point, give you reasons why you need to have insurance on your adult kids if you have any adult children. Now, a lot of times, okay, TikTok, y'all, excuse me, but I'm live. I'm live on Facebook, YouTube, and on TikTok over here. So as you see me going back and forth like this, I'm doing that because I'm live on all of my social media pages right now. So, and somebody over on TikTok want to join me on my live, but we're not doing that. We're definitely not doing that today. Okay. So listen up, because I'm going to share with you reasons why it's important for you all that have adult children to have life insurance on your adult kids. And for those of you that are adult kids, don't fight back when your parent insists on getting life insurance on you, especially if you are not married. Especially if you are not married. So, having life insurance on your adult children, it can provide several different benefits for you all that have adult children. A lot of times, our adult children, and y'all, we were young at one time also. We were young at one time also, and so we know how it is to kind of be a little, I call it irresponsible, maybe, where we're really not thinking that anything is going to happen to us and we're going to live as long as we want, and we don't have to worry about life insurance. You know, I've heard so many different stories from parents who are trying or who were trying to get insurance on their young adult children, and the child kind of push back. They fight back because they thought that the parent was putting bad mouth on them, or maybe talking something into existence as far as something happening to them. But parents, I'm here to tell you, if you don't do anything else, if you don't do anything else, please, ma'am, please, sir, make sure you have insurance on your adult children. Make sure you have insurance on your adult children. I have seen so many times where a parent had an adult child, and that adult child died, and the parent didn't have no type of insurance on that adult child. And guess what? If something happens to that adult child, then the person that's next of kin would be the parents. The parent is next of kin. So the parent is responsible for all of the final arrangements. I'm here to bear your bad news for you all that have adult children and they are not married. They're not married and they don't have children of age. They don't have children of age that if something was to happen to them, then the child that's of age would be the one responsible. But if they don't have children of age that would be consider the next of kin to be able to take care of the final arrangements, then guess what, parents? You're responsible. You're responsible for making sure that that child final expenses are paid for. It falls back on the parents. It falls back on the parents. A lot of parents don't realize that. A lot of parents don't know that. But yeah, if that child, your adult child, is not married, if they're not married, then you're the next of kin, and the responsibility fall back on you as the parent, as next of kin. Yeah. So I'm going to give you tips on why it's important for you to have insurance. And that's one right there, because you don't want that burden to fall back on you. You don't want that bill to be your responsibility if something was to happen to your adult child. It's a lot of parents out there, and if your child is out there being reckless, I'm really talking to you guys, because if you know you have a child that's out there and they just being reckless and just doing whatever, whenever, however, then you really need to make sure that you have insurance on that child. And even though the child pushes back, but I'm telling you, you have to put your foot down and let them know, look, I'm the one responsible if something happens to you. I don't want that burden to be put on me. We all know our death date. I mean, our born date. We all know our born date, but none of us know our death date. None of us know our death date. So if that child pushes back and don't want you to take out life insurance on them, you have to put your foot down and you have to let them know, look, I'm the one responsible if something was to happen to you, and I don't have thousands of dollars to come up with in a short period of time to pay for final arrangements for you if something was to happen to you. So you have to put your foot down and you have to let them know, yeah, even though I know that you really don't want to, but we're going to do this. You got to be the one to be stern on that, because if not, it's going to come back, and it could come back. It could come back to haunt you. It definitely can come back to haunt you. So you have to be the one that really put your foot down and let them know, look, we're going to do this, whether you want to or not. Because that's being irresponsible for you to think that, you don't need life insurance. Everybody needs life insurance, because it's just as sure as we're living, we all going to die one day. And like I stated earlier, we know our born date, but none of us know our death date. So don't let them play that mind game with you to make you feel like, oh, you're putting bad mouth on me. That's what they like to say. Oh, you're putting bad mouth on me. No, I'm just making sure that all of our business is covered if something was to happen. Now, a couple of things that I'm sharing with you, some benefits on why it's important and how it could benefit you to have insurance on your young adult child. It's going to cover the final expenses because you're responsible for the final expenses if something happens to that adult child and they're not married and they don't have kids that are of age that will be the next of kin. But think about it like this: even if they do have children that are 18 years old, do you think that child will be able to put that $1,000? I mean, funeral arrangements these days it can run anywhere from $5,000 to $12,000. Do you think that that child that's 18 years or 19 years of age will be able to afford that? No, because guess what? Now they're still going to be running to you as the parent and looking at you to help them lay their parent to rest. If they're only 18, 19, 20 years old, they're looking at you to help as the parent because they probably 9 times out of 10 don't have that type of money laying around to pay for no final arrangements. So that's one reason why you should have insurance on your young adult child. The other reason you should have insurance on your young adult child, it's going to protect your cosign debt. So let's say your adult child had a student loan. Let's say they had a car loan. You co-sign on that car loan for them. Whatever you co-sign on for that child, then that burden falls back on you as the co-signer. Because if that person is gone, is dead, then guess what? The debtors, they looking for you. You're the co-signer. They're looking for you to take care of this debt. So it's going to protect you if something was to happen to your child, your young adult child that you have co-signed for a student loan for them to go to college. If you have co-signed for them to get a house, for you, if you had co-signed for them to get a vehicle, it protects you from all of that because now that you have life insurance, that money will be able to take care of whatever debt that child has left behind. So you as a parent won't be responsible for it. It's also going to help with funeral arrangements, final expenses, the final expenses at the funeral home. So it's also going to help you make sure that your young adult child gets a proper burial. You know, when we're grieving, we tend to want to make that final statement to our loved one with funeral arrangements. You know, we don't want to just say, "Oh, we can't afford to get them the casket that we want to get them," and just put them in a box. I call a wooden box. That's not going to sit right with you. You're not going to want to do that. You're not going to do that. You're going to want to make sure that your loved one, your adult child, have the best of the best of the best. And I don't know why we do that. We put so much money into funeral arrangements because all that money basically is going in the ground. But sometimes we do that just to have a peace of mind, to know that we gave them a really good homegoing service. So it's going to help with funeral arrangements, final expense arrangements for your loved one. Also, let's say your young adult child didn't have insurance. And it falls back on you. But you can't afford to pay it. You can't afford to pay it. In some states, and you need to check with your state, in some states, they may have provide like a some type of basic burial or cremation um, service for you, but that is only in some states. All states do not do that. And when I say basic, it's not going to be what you think it's going to be. It's going to be basic, basic. And I know us as parents, we're not going to just go with basic. What the state consider basic. So it would be good for you to make sure that you do have proper protection in case something happens to your young adult child, because you're not going to want to do what the state is willing to pay for. If they're willing to pay anything, because all states don't do that. But if they're willing to pay anything, when I say basic, I mean basic, basic. Okay. Now, the other thing is too, the reason why it would be good. Let's say your young adult child had children. They got small children. So now that burden is left, well, I won't call it a burden, but that responsibility is left back on the grandparents. So now you as the grandparent or parents, you have to make sure that these young children, your grandchildren, are taken care of until they become of age. So that responsibility falls back on you. So it is good to have a policy that the parent left behind in order to help you take care of your young grandchildren until they become of age where they can take care of themselves. I tell people all the time, if a person that has children left an insurance policy behind for the children that they're leaving behind, it's so much easier to find somebody who's willing to take those children in and take care of them. You know why? Because they know that money is involved. They know that an insurance policy was left behind where these kids are going to get some money. So they don't mind taking on that responsibility. But if they know that it's nothing and they got a child that they got to take care of that they weren't planning to take care of, but they got kids, because sometimes it could be multiple children. They're not going to want to take on that responsibility. They might do it for maybe a month, kind of feeling sorry. When something happens, we all in our feelings at that time. And everybody want to help and do, but then after a month, a couple of months, or a year, it gets to be kind of crazy. It gets to be a burden on some people taking care of other people kids when there was no money left behind for them to do so. So your kids would 9 times out of 10 have a better life growing up if the parent left behind some insurance money. I've seen children that were bounced from house to house because the parent died and didn't have any life insurance. And so now the burden was left back on the family, and the family stepped in for a little while. But then after it got to be where they really couldn't afford it, the kids were like from pillar to post. They were bounced from house to house. You have some kids end up in foster care because the family members cannot afford to take care of the kids. You don't want that to happen to your grandkids or your kids. If you're a parent, you don't want that to happen to your kids. So why not leave something behind for your young kids? If you are a young adult parent, leave something behind for your young kids so they'll be able to live comfortably until they're able to take care of themselves. So you have to be considerate. Don't just be inconsiderate and not just leave nothing behind and think, oh well, it's not my mistake. And I hear this all the time. Oh, I don't care. I'll be dead anyway, so I don't care who do it. Really? How irresponsible is that? How inconsiderate is that? How selfish is that type of attitude? When you don't care who you leave your debt behind to. Very inconsiderate, very selfish, very selfish. So things to be mindful of. Things to be mindful of. The one thing I was saying with the state, as far as final arrangement, it falls back on the parent, whoever. Well, if the parent is next of kin, it's going to fall back on you as the parent. The other thing is the states require that the parent is going to be responsible when you go to the funeral home. The funeral home is going to want to put somebody's name down. They're going to want one person name that they can put down that's going to be responsible for that bill. And so 9 times out of 10 is going to be the parent. If the child died without a spouse, 9 times out of 10 they're going to want the parent to sign off on all of the paperwork so they can make sure this is the funeral home, so they can make sure that they get their money. They're gonna want somebody's signature, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to be looking at the parents to sign off so they can make sure that they get their money. That's just, and you can't blame them for that. I mean, how can you blame them for that? They just want to make sure that they get their money. It's a business. It's a business, and they're trying to stay in business. So in order for them to stay in business, they can't just take your word that, oh, you're going to pay. They can't do that. You got to sign this contract. Somebody got to put their name on this contract. So if y'all stop paying these arrangements, then we're going to have somebody that we can go after to get our money. So, yeah, so that's basically it. That's basically it. That's why you should have insurance on your young adult child, because you don't want that burden to fall back on you. And these kids these days, they're living a happy-go-lucky free life. They don't feel like and 9 times out of 10, a lot of them really can't afford to get any type of insurance. They really can't afford to get health insurance. So life insurance is really not in their sense of thinking at this, when they're young. They barely can afford to get health insurance if they have health insurance. So that's why you, as the parent, if you don't want that responsibility to fall back on you, as the parent of these young adult kids that are out there living a happy-go-lucky free life, you get insurance on your child. Get insurance on your child. And make sure that they are properly protected in case something was to happen to them, because we all know our born date, but none of us know our death date. And don't let them push back telling you that they don't feel that they need to get life insurance, or you putting bad mouth on them. No, you just making sure that you are covered, because you don't want that type of bill. Because you think about this, funeral arrangements can be anywhere from $5,000 to $12,000. So funeral home's going to want at least half of that money. And not just that, you're going to have to pay monthly payments to continue to pay the rest of this. You don't want that burden to be left back on you as the parent. So no matter what they say, you make them take these policies out, because you can't do it without their consent. That's what I'm trying to really explain to you, because they have to answer their own health questions. And if they're going to be the owner of the policy, and that's a whole nother subject that I'm probably going to discuss with you guys about being the owner and not being the owner. And I'm going to talk one day and explain to you why it would be important for you to be the owner of your young adult child's policy. Yes. Yes, and we'll talk about that on another day, but and maybe we'll do that on Tuesday. Maybe we'll talk about that on Tuesday. I'll see. But the reason why you would want to be the owner of your young adult child's policy, a lot of people don't think about that, but I'm going to tell you the reason why you would want to be the owner. Okay, especially if you're making the payments. But anyway, that's all I have, y'all. Giving a shot. Well, first of all, do y'all have any questions? Anybody have any questions before we get off? I'm trying to answer the questions before we get off. Anybody have any questions? I'm looking through my messages. Hey, Jeanette, thank you for joining. Checking TikTok. Okay. So I don't see any questions. I hope I'm not missing any questions. But I don't see any questions. But if y'all have questions, please post them in the comment section before we get off. But yeah, let me give a shout out to my two sponsors. First, Lavish Cocktails by Toya, which is a mobile bartending service. She does wedding receptions, private events, birthday parties, date nights, and more. So you can contact her at area code 864-523-2065, or you can hit her up on her Facebook page, which is Lavish Cocktails by Toya. And you probably will also see Latoya. She do bartending at some of the home Clemson games. So you probably will see Toya out there sometimes at some of the Clemson games, because they do invite her out to come and do some of the home Clemson games. Also, our next sponsor is, if you're looking for a DJ, for a special event, there's no better DJ than DJ Q, and he caters to young and old. He has state-of-the-art equipment, and he can turn any event into the party of a lifetime. And he does several events. He can do several events. He do events for schools. He do like the school proms and school dances, sporting events. He's a DJ for weddings, parties, receptions, church events, corporate events, private events, lunch parties, community events. You name it, he can do it. So you can book him for your very next event if you want your guests to have the party of a lifetime. Okay, if you want to keep them on the floor, that's the DJ for you, DJ Q. And you can go book him on his Facebook page at DJ Q at Original, ORRIGINAL Sounds Entertainment. That's DJ Q at Original Sounds Entertainment. And those are our two sponsors. Now, if you want to be a sponsor, just hit me up. It's very inexpensive for me to give you a shout out on here. If you want me to say something about an event that you have coming up, I can do that too. You can just hit me up, inbox me, and I'll be more than happy to put your event out there for you. And I'll do that each time that I come on. And I come on twice a week. And each time I come on, I'll give your business or event. If you're having a special event, I'll give it a shout out. So thank y'all so much for getting on. And if you want a free quote, I can definitely help you with that too, y'all. So if you want a free quote for your young adult children, hit me up, inbox me. All I need is their date of birth, and to know if they're female or male, if they're a smoker or not. And I can show you how inexpensive, y'all. When I tell you it could be very inexpensive for these young adult kids, because the younger they are, the the less they have to pay. It's very inexpensive for them to get policies. So it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg for you to take out some insurance on your young adult child. Hit me up and I promise you, you're going to be probably amazed at the cost on how inexpensive it is for you to take out a policy on your young adult child. Also, we also looking for people that come into business and be partners. I'm looking for a business partner. So if you want to do what I'm doing, you know, it's always good to have the information. At least if you, thank you, Kim, for sharing the live. If you want to like learn what I'm doing, we're always looking for people to come on and join us. We're looking for business partners. Even if you don't make money, you don't want to make the money. It's not about the money in doing it, which the money is really, really good. The money is really, really good. You can make what some people make in a week. You can make that off of one piece of business doing this. So the money is really good. But if you don't want to do it for the money, it's always good to have the information so you can share it with your family members and your friends and your loved ones and your church members. So you can make sure that, you know, they get all the education they need about making a good decision when it comes down to finding the best type of policy for them and their family. Okay. So if you want to join me, hit me up. I'm always looking for business partners. And I can show you how you can make this, you know, you can make extra income or you can make it out of a career like I did. I've been doing this now for 15 years, going on 16 years, and I want training for the world. I love what I do because I know that I'm helping people when it comes down to making the right decision at the right time, the right place for the right thing. Okay. Y'all, thank y'all for joining me. I'm getting off now, but if y'all have any questions after we get off, don't hesitate to hit me up. You can hit me up in my inbox and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions for you. Y'all have a good day and I will talk with y'all on next Tuesday. And we'll probably talk about why is it important for you to be the owner of your young adult child life insurance policy. You're going to be amazed at the reasons why you should really be the owner. Okay, I'll talk with y'all. Talk with y'all then. Y'all have a good one.